Hello, everyone. Today, let us talk about how to start your career in the field of Atlassian tools. Now, someone recently asked me this question, and I found it slightly difficult to explain quickly in 2 minutes on how to get started with different things, wonderful things that you can do with Atlassian tools. And I thought I'll probably make a video on this topic. This is, of course, my attempt to help you guys in case you're wondering whether you can start your career in this field of Atlassian tools. So this would be a guide to start your career in Atlassian tools. Now, I think primarily there are three things that you can do uh, in case you want to start your career. Number one, you can become an administrator. So let us say you are looking for a job and you're looking for a job in this particular field of, let us say, Jira administration, conference administration, or maybe Bitbucket administration, and similar other tools from Atlassian. So you can always become an administrator, and I'll talk about how to start your learning in case you want to become administrator. Something similar to being an administrator, you can also think about becoming a consultant. Now, consultants are people who are usually working for, let us say, partners. They could be freelancers or contractors. And consultants, they know how Jira or Confluence work as a tool. They know about the functionality, they know about different aspects of the tool, but they are usually people who help others in adopting Atlassian tools and solving their problems related to various tools. So let us say there is a company and they are using some legacy tool and they want to use or start using Jira, or they're thinking of whether Jira can solve their problems. Then they may not have all the answers in the beginning. So they usually contact a partner or they hire a consultant. So I think once you start with the administration part, you can always think about becoming a consultant. And you can also, apart from being a consultant, or maybe along with being a consultant, you can also focus on the development part. So in case you don't know, there is a marketplace, and there is a marketplace of Atlassian called Atlassian Marketplace. And on that marketplace, you can find different apps. So what exactly are apps? So apps are basically various modules that can enhance or bring in more functionality to Atlassian tools. So for example, if you start using Jira, you may not have a traditional time tracking capabilities in the tool. So you need to install an app like Tempo, for example. In case you want to improve or enhance the reporting, you can use an app called EasyBI. Or maybe in case you want to do automation, there are apps like popular apps like Script Runner, for example. So these apps are, of course, developed by third party. There are some apps from Atlassian, but most of the apps are actually from partners or other third party companies. Now, I would say in the beginning, how to start. So, talking about how to start your journey, you can't really start with the administration part unless you know how the tool works. So, start by using the tool, and I'll talk about. I'll focus on Jira because Jira is probably the most complicated. It is not really complicated, but when it comes to learning different features or different aspects of the tool, Jira has a lot to offer as compared to Confluence and Bitbucket, for example. Now, start by using the tool, like how tool works. Maybe you are already working in the company where you are using Jira already. That is great. You already know how tool works. But in case you are not familiar with the tool, then sign up for a free Jira Cloud account, or maybe in case you want to learn it on server, you can do that. But I think Atlassian announced that server version is going away, and moving forward, it will only be the data center version. So I would say start with the cloud version. I think cloud is the future. That is the vision of Atlassian. So you can always create a free Jira account, and along with the Jira free account, free Jira version, I think you get like few users. You can also get Confluence, for example. But in the beginning, spend some time on the tool, understand various things it can do, like where to find your issues, get familiar with the concept of projects, and get familiar with the interface, for example. And once you learn how to use the tool, and by the way, you can always use various templates. So let us say in case you want to use Jira for software development, or maybe you want to use Jira for service desk, there are different templates that you can start using from day one. So create a project and get familiar with the usage of the tool. And when you start with the usage, when you start using the tool, you will reach a point where you may want to customize it. Maybe you have a responsibility to maybe implement Jira in your company, or maybe you are just curious to see what all Jira can do. So start by customizing the tool. And when it comes to customization, you can do a lot of wonderful things with workflows. You can do things like modifying the schemes. These schemes can basically schemes are nothing but collection of different configurations, and you can configure a lot of things like issue types, workflows, and permissions, notifications. There are so many things that you can modify in the tool. And once you get familiar with the customization aspect of the tool, then of course you can start by beginning to solve problems. Maybe you can spend time on the Atlassian community, and you can help other people who are looking for some solutions. So this is something that you can do, and I think if you spend a couple of months, you can get a very good idea about. To learn the Jira administration, I think it is just a matter of maybe few weeks or few months. Not really few months, but I think I should say a couple of months. But it is all dependent on your experience as well. Now, in the beginning, I would say start by Jira, because Jira, as I mentioned, is a bit more complicated as compared to Confluence. And when you start with Jira, you always can start with Jira software, and then you can also take a look at Jira service management. And you also have Jira core, by the way, which I didn't really mention, but because there might be a case where some teams, they just want to use Jira for non-technical work. Maybe your HR team, your sales team, your marketing team, your legal team. So they don't really need a Scrum board or a Kanban board. They can start by simply creating a project of type called business, for example. So start with Jira. Then when you are comfortable with Jira, then you can also start by looking at Confluence. And then once you're comfortable with Jira and Confluence, then of course you can look at other tools. So this is something that you can do. I'm just trying to show you the path. And talking about development, now, if you know the usage of the tool, if you know how to customize the tool, you know how to solve problems, you know various use cases that can be implemented. I'll talk about use cases in a minute. And if you are more keen on the development side, maybe you are a developer already, then you can think of becoming a developer and develop apps for Atlassian. Now, when it comes to development, you can use Java in case you want to develop apps for the server. But if you are thinking of developing the app for cloud, you can actually use any technology. But there are already some frameworks to get you started on both Java and Node.js. I'm talking about cloud. So you always have this option to become a developer later on, or maybe you're already a developer and you want to start developing apps for Atlassian tools. Then of course you need to first understand the basics or the usage of the tool, and of course a bit of customization. Now, talking about use cases, just for your knowledge, in case you want to become a consultant, or maybe even a developer, there are plenty of use cases, but I tried to write down few things. The first use case is very obvious, which is of course software development, which I believe is the reason why Jira became so popular. And when it comes to software development, you can implement, or you can actually use both Scrum or Kanban methodologies. And I'm using the word software development, but it is actually quite wide. There are so many things that you can do within software development. Each company work differently, and that is where the customization aspect of the tool will come into picture. Things like if you're developing something for maybe you're planning 6 months or 2 years in advance, or maybe you are doing some small projects, or maybe you're working for a small team. So there are so many things, so many factors that will come into picture when it comes to customizing the tool. But software development as a whole is a very good use case, and it is the main reason why Jira became very popular in the industry. You can use Jira for test management along with, of course, Confluence. So these two things are, of course, quite similar. So you can start by defining your requirements in a tool like Confluence, where you can basically write down documents. You can start by creating some ideas, and you can do some brainstorming. Confluence is a tool for online collaboration. It is a place where you can keep track of your documents if you want. You can basically do online editing. I mean, everything is a page in Confluence, and you have templates. But the good thing about Confluence is that it can actually talk to Jira. So once you have something to implement, you can then move to Jira. So the good thing is that you always have this traceability within Jira. So you can start by defining your requirements in Confluence, and in Jira you can create maybe initiatives. Then you can break it up into epics. Then you can break it up into stories. And when it comes to stories, of course, I'm talking about Scrum, Agile. You may want to create further subtasks. And the good thing about these two tools is that you have a traceability. For example, if there is a bug, you can always trace back to the original requirement, because there is a trail. There is this linking of different things together. And talking about portfolio management, people also plan things well in advance. So using tools like advanced roadmaps, or maybe you can use an app like Big Picture, for example, you can actually plan well in advance. You can use advanced roadmaps for doing planning, for creating scenarios, and for basically taking help from the tool in understanding based on the information that you feed to the tool. Like, let us say you have a team of 5 people, and you have 5 teams, for example, and you want to develop something. Maybe you have a release in your product. So you can feed this information to a tool like Advanced Roadmap, where Advanced Roadmap can suggest the possible release dates, and it can help you with the scheduling. So you can, of course, use Jira for portfolio management as well. And talking about what else you can do, I'll talk about, of course, the main things. You can use Jira, Confluence, Bitbucket, and a tool like Bamboo, for example. I'll probably mention it here, Bamboo, to basically implement your DevOps pipeline. And you don't really need to use just Bamboo or maybe Bitbucket. You can basically integrate Jira with any other tool. And this integration can be with the help of, let us say, an app, or maybe you're using webhooks. And when it comes to webhooks, or basically, because we are talking about integration, I'm also talking about, I also want to mention REST API. So REST API is very important. In case you're doing something in software field, software engineering, in case you're a software engineer, or you're doing something in IT, you can't really use just one tool for everything. You have tools like maybe, I should mention tools like maybe GitHub, for example. And maybe you are using Slack already, or maybe you are using other tools. I don't really want to talk about all the 100 tools in this video, but the good thing is that when it comes to integrating with other tools, Jira or Confluence or maybe Bitbucket, they all have REST API. So you can always integrate Atlassian tools with other Atlassian tools, or maybe other standard tools that you might already be using. So in this video, I just wanted to give you a very high-level idea about how to get started with learning Atlassian tools. Start by the usage, and then of course worry about the customization aspects of the tool. And I will probably I can talk a bit more about how to get started with these tools, especially when it comes to your career, in case you're looking for a job, or maybe if you're not really sure if you should spend time learning these tools, in case you're wondering whether learning or spending time on Atlassian tools is a good idea or not, then that is what I wanted to cover in this video. But do let me know in case you have any specific question for me. I am more than happy. I'll be glad to help you guys. So that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you also learned something new today. Thank you very much.